Namaste, and a very good evening to one and all present here. Thank you so much for joining us today here on the live platform of Srimati Sulochana Devi Singhania School's very own YouTube live platform. Extreme times call for extreme measures, and one such wonderful measure has been the launch of the live channel of the school. Today, we are in conversation with Mrs. Revathi Srinivasan, Director Principal of Srimati Sulochana Devi Singhania School, and a few Solonians. We do hope you really enjoy this absolutely insightful session and hear the voices of tomorrow. So without much ado, let's get quickly started with the very first live session of Srimati Sulochana Devi Singhania School's YouTube channel. Welcome, Revathi ma'am. Over to you.
Very good evening to all of you. It is indeed a beautiful evening. And a day, any day spent with children is a lovely day. And it can be lovelier when we are in a lockdown situation, and yet I have the company of beautiful children. Beautiful children on my screen and beautiful children off their screens in their homes as well. So wonderful evening to all of you. And I hope that this session is lively, gives us all ideas. A looming crisis, they say, makes us think and do the unthinkable and the undoable. And I think that's what happened with the COVID as well. We crossed boundaries, we reached out to each other, collaborated better, and we came out with our own systems. And sometimes such opportunities are quite rare. We don't get them every day, get to interact with students, find out what they have in mind, in their minds. If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday, we'd perhaps rob them of their tomorrow. And therefore, it's very essential for us as educators to collaborate with them, to ask them what's in their mind. What is their dream school? We have dreamt a lot. And for the past 2 months, we have been racing against time with the technological advances that are happening by the minute. We're trying to do our best, yet I think our students will have a lot of ideas to share. I have with me a representative of the senior students of the school. And there are only 8 of them here and about 10 of them on a video later. So I just have 18 out of the 7,000 children that we have. But yet I do hope I'm able to reach out to every child through these children, and maybe a few more webinars where I can interact with more children. I, as a principal, I'm reaching out to all my children. Share your ideas. We can make a wonderful school. We can make a school of your dreams, and that's my dream. Okay, so can I have all the panelists introduce themselves?
Greetings everyone, my name is Aryan Ram Manjani and I am from ISC Commerce. I aspire to become an investment banker.
Wow, okay. Arya Sabnis?
Good evening everyone, I am Arya Sabnis from ISC Commerce. I aspire to become a successful professional with a diverse skill set and the ability to meaningfully impact the lives of people.
Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, Shri Ravina.
Good evening, everyone. I am Shri Ravina RK. I study in grade 10 and I aspire to become an English professor since I have a lot of interest in the subject of English.
Oh, follow us. That's beautiful. Okay, Bailey.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Bailey Dedhia. and I'm in standard 9. I would like to aspire and do PhD in mathematics.
Wonderful. A good researcher in the making. Abhishek.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Abhishek Iyer, and I aspire to be a software engineer.
Sucheta.
Good evening, everyone. I am Sucheta Mitra from ISC Humanities, and someday I aspire to become a creative personnel in the field of mass media.
Fantastic. Shresht.
Hello everyone, my name is Shrestha Tilwalkar. I'm from ISC Science and I aspire to meaningfully contribute to the field of medical sciences.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mugdha Bhidi. I'm from Standard 10. I aspire to become a landscape architect and urban designer.
I'm sorry I was offline for a second, some problem with the internet. And that's what we are going to be talking about today, that we are charging ahead for the world that's opening up to us, saying take on all the challenges, lead your school the way you wish to lead, because education offers so many opportunities. I would like to ask, perhaps start with Arya Subnis. Maybe Arya should speak first because she is actually going to be thinking about what to do with our education pattern. Okay, with the changing patterns in education, what kind of learning would you expect, Arya, that happens so that learning is made more relevant to the children? So that we don't, not just rote learning or standardized testing. I think that we have done, we have spoken enough. But even in the wake of this pandemic in the past 2 months, when we had these online, that's there to stay. And sometimes I feel that technology is racing so far ahead that we are, unable to cope up with that. So if that is the circumstance that we are in, what do you think would make things more relevant for children? What would you want to learn? And I'm writing it down as you speak because I need to incorporate this, and for the benefit of all the viewers, I would tell you that I'm going to come back to you on the 31st, next Sunday, same time, with their ideas incorporated in the functioning of the school.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's really a privilege to be here. Firstly, I would like to start by saying that the term dream school itself has a very dynamic definition. It changes from person to person, place to place, and time to time. At the same time, I don't think it means fantasy school. It's an ideal school in the reality of today. While I do agree that COVID-19 has definitely acted as a trigger for change, the education sector was already up for a paradigm shift in terms of what we learn, why we learn, and how we learn it. Wouldn't it be great if my dream school gave utmost priority to project-based learning? It would allow me to process, analyze, interpret, and most importantly, apply the data that is today so easily available at our fingertips. And not just any projects. Original research projects done by our students tested for plagiarism on the niche topics of their interest. You know, it's rather paradoxical that although we are constantly talking about social distancing, this pandemic has marked the death of distance. Remote learning, remote engagement, remote employment will be the order of the day. Tomorrow, someone in India might very easily be working for someone across the world. This will result globally in an intensely competitive world. Tomorrow, literally and virtually, the world is our stage. My dream school would recognize that the students of today are the responsible citizens and workforce of tomorrow and empower and equip us to meet this world. Wouldn't it be amazing if my dream school gave utmost priority to civic sense, community living, personal discipline, environmental studies, sustainable development in the formative years of the students, and later exposed us to technology, foreign languages, and such things? This would give us the social and self awareness to become a challenge ready, a future ready generation of socially responsible and purposeful global citizens. All this being said, I have to say that Singhania School has always been pretty close to my dream school. But improvement, innovation, and pursuit of excellence is a continuous process, and we must always strive for higher ideals. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful. In fact, I'd like to carry the home this point that teaching children civic sense and even the schools becoming community centers where we teach about health, hygiene, civic sense, all of this and responsibility is very important. How do we become more duty conscious and conscientious citizens of the country? I think that's a wonderful point that I'd like to take Arya with me. And the second point that I really like is research-based learning. So while we are talking in terms of theme-based, project-based learning, it's also very important as the children grow to get into a lot more of researches. I think what India really lacks is research and learning. And that's where I think we need to develop that right from the school days, where we give projects which are not downloadable. I think that's a very important message that we must carry home. Sri Ravina, I'm now coming to you. You have understood the kind of changes that have taken place in the education system in the past 2 months. Do you think that this kind of pattern of education is there to stay, or do you think it's going to go for another ramp up, or we'll revert back to where we were? What is the scenario, and what would you think are ideas that you'd like to give?
Good evening, ma'am. I'm sorry I got disconnected in between. Can you please repeat your question?
Okay. Sri Ravina, my question to you is that we've brought in a lot of changes in our educational scenario in the past 2 months. You've been seeing and hearing about it also a lot. So when we're talking about post-pandemic and post-COVID schools, what would you think? Do you think that this pattern of education is there to stay, or would we revert back to the old one once everyone forgets about COVID and all of those changes?
Yes, ma'am. My views on that are COVID has actually made an everlasting impact on the way we view education. Earlier, before this crisis occurred, this was the belief among people that physical interaction between the teacher and students was mandatory for learning. This crisis has proved it wrong, and I feel that it has shown us that technological learning is very much possible and quite effective as traditional teaching methods. So we never know in the future this online teaching methods may complement traditional teaching methods, and children may have partly traditional teaching and partly virtual teaching. And before I share with you all what my dream school looks like, I would like to mention a proverb which goes, tell me and I forget, show me and I remember, involve me and I understand. I feel that this should be the learning mantra for all schools working today and schools that will emerge tomorrow. I would love to study in a school where knowledge is imparted by the use of modern technology like augmented reality and virtual reality. For instance, if a biology teacher is explaining to her students how the human heart works, rather than drawing 2D diagrams on the blackboard, if the teacher hands them AR equipped devices and tells them to learn and observe simultaneously, I feel the children tend to involve themselves deeper and delve deeper into the concept. In the same way, virtual reality can be used in subjects like history and geography where there is the need for travel. The teacher can explain to her students about the vegetation of Africa while virtually on a tour to Africa itself. Virtual reality, I guess, can be used also to perform virtual chemical experiments harmlessly. I feel that virtual reality is just an outgrowth of the video lesson teaching methods that are adopted by many schools presently in this crisis, of which my very own school is also one. I would like one more feature in my dream school, which is operation of digitalized calendars, wherein on a daily basis, the date, day, time, events for the day, weather forecast, and news can be updated. It basically acts as a planner for the whole school. In a nutshell, all I can say is that however futuristic and techno savvy my dream school will be, I am sure it can fulfill all my learning requirements. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I would say that it should be fulfilled. I do hope very soon it will get fulfilled. Yes, AR, VR are what we are looking at this moment of time, and a beautiful idea of having virtual tours. I think that will make engaging. I think it's more engaging for the child and will also impress upon them the need to do a lot of self learning, because this will also help children to have their own directed learning. So that self-directed learning, the self-learning that we are all emphasizing on as educators, it will be there because they're going to get more enthused to learn. Thank you so much, Sri Ravina.
Thank you.
And I would now move to Aryan. Aryan,
Greetings, everyone.
yeah. So
A
I
dream
will have
school
my
is a
questions to you. Okay.
yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to ask you this. Do you agree that we are now quite obsessed with technology creation? Okay. And because we are obsessed with technology creation, we are doing our best, bending backwards to get all the digital tools available for us. Okay. Is it going to be a boon or is it going to be a bane?
Ma'am, thank you for letting me present my views on this topic. Each and everything has its own pros and cons. That said, even online learning has its own pros and cons. But the main benefit that digital classrooms and online learning provides us is that it provides the students flexibility. Now, there is neither any time bound nor any place bound for the students to learn. Students can learn anytime, anywhere. That said, online learning surely serves as an add on. That is, it complements physical classrooms, but it can never substitute physical classrooms. Because physical classrooms are the places where students are given opportunities to develop themselves. They are given practical skills and experiences. For example, swimming and several sports activities cannot be taught through the medium of online classrooms. These skills have to be applied practically so as to the students can learn in a better way. That said, practical classrooms and physical classrooms surely serve and meet the development, whereas digital classrooms serve as an add-on and complement the physical classrooms.
If I were you sat on the fence, Aryan, if I ask you to take one step either this way or that way, which way would it be?
I would definitely go for physical classrooms as well as complemented by digital classrooms.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And beautifully put across. I think children miss the playgrounds. If there is
Yes,
one
ma'am.
period that children miss, and that's the PE period, the art and the craft, the music, the dance, all the others, you can manage to learn. But this is something that you experience most of all, the
Yes, ma'am.
physical education that is required. So I really wish that the schools become perfectly normal for children to come back to schools. We are going to be looking forward to being with them. Thank you so much, Aryan. And now I move to Bailey.
Thank you, ma'am.
Um, Bailey, I'm going to be talking to you and asking you this question on courses. Okay, today we have a lot of courses. Bailey, can you come on?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. There are lots of courses that we can do. In fact, you don't even need a minimum qualification to do a course. You just type on courses from Coursera to different universities, Stanford, Oxford, name the university, the Harvard, everyone offers courses. You can do them. Okay. So you are actually in a privileged position. How much of it is going to be useful to you? How much of it did you understand? Perhaps one really can't say. Okay. Or did it add to your understanding, comprehension, as well as knowledge? I don't know. But yet, there are courses available. According to you, and I would say that if you were offered courses like that in school, would you like to go for these kind of courses, and what do you think is the future for these kind of online courses?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you, ma'am, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. My dream school. These words remind me of a story in which a girl sat in front of her computer and studied. At that time, I thought how wonderful it would be to have access to education from home, unaware of its drawbacks. But now I realize that schooling is not a thing which can be done by sitting amidst the four walls of your house. Socialization is important, and hence, classroom is the integral part of my dream school. Indeed, technology is the future, but all the upgradation related to technology should be done in combination with classroom learning. In this technological world, physical distance is no more a barrier. So having online sessions with faculties far away who are best and specialized in their fields and who can guide us will help the students, but all under the roof of school and in an organized manner. Thus, having tie-ups with the universities is not a bad idea, because having access to it from our own school and basically from our own country would help the students to be bounded to the roots of India. Now, other feature I would like in my dream school is skill-based learning. Now, I would like to focus on skill-based learning. So, if a child wants to know more about the subject out of one's own curiosity, is there effective learning takes place. So, if a hobby is converted into a skill in the school itself, will help the child in career development. It would be wonderful if my school would focus on development of decision-making and problem-solving skills. For that, there can be United Nations role-playing and national government role-playing group in which students will do research and find out solutions to the world and local problems. I would like my school to get better politicians, critical thinkers, and more well-adjusted adults. So this is what my dream school is like. And here I'm reminded of what Oprah Winfrey quoted. Education is the key to unlocking the world and a passport to freedom. Here, I would not forget to show my gratitude towards the institute, Srimati Sulochana Devi Singhania School, who has brought me this far that I can confidently express myself and speak out my mind on such a huge platform. Thank you, ma'am.
Wonderful. And when all your dreams that you were talking about in terms of having those opportunities to have problem solving, real problem solving, and decision making skills being developed, hobbies getting converted to skills, and that would lead to career development. That's a absolutely brilliant idea.
Thank you, ma'am.
I can only say tatastu. Okay, and may it be there. I will definitely look into this matter. Okay, of making your hobbies more focused into a skill development. Okay, thank you so much. And now to Abhishek.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
Now-
Abhishek, 1 minute, wait. Before you talk, I'm going to tell you, I know you will start talking about your dream school, but I'm going to ask you something different. Do you think education should get personalized? Like everyone has something for himself, and it looks as if that has been designed individually for you. Okay, so there is social distancing happening. There are smaller classes going to happen now. Okay, so a whole lot of new changes are going to come. Do you think all of these are in the direction of more personalized learning?
Yes, ma'am. As we are all aware, the COVID-19 pandemic has kept us all in our homes and has accelerated new ways of learning and teaching. Technology will be the game changer in the field of education. The tools of such technology will become indispensable, the user-friendly and intuitive. Plus, there's no fear of notes getting lost as these can be saved on the cloud. Sessions can also be recorded and made available to students who may miss classes due to ill health or on duty. Smart boards facilitate the use of graphs, pictures, and videos to make learning fun and more comprehensive. Imagine learning geography with the help of interactive maps. With augmented reality, you will be able to explore the night sky for constellations layered over what you see. As Srinivasan said, virtual field trips can also be made possible. The students will be able to travel virtually around the world and closely observe all the subject matter they want, just like if they're personally present there. Imagine seeing the Eiffel Tower or the Great Wall of China in the classroom with all your friends. Online lectures by guest faculty or experts in various fields may be arranged for interested students. This can provide a more rounded education in subjects that are usually not taught. The syllabus could be more flexible to allow students to delve deep into subjects they're really interested in. Such personalized learning programs can become possible by efficient use of technology. But of course, exam systems should also support this. Having hobby clubs for various areas of interest with guided supervision by teachers, be it music, dance, coding, will be very interesting. Our school has always been a trendsetter in following best practices in education, be it reducing the weight of school bags for younger children, following the playway or project method, robust sports programs or exchange programs. It would be wonderful if the school could implement at least some of these initiatives. All of these need a heavy dependence on technology, but it open up a whole new world for our students.
Absolutely. I will agree with you. I'm sure that AR and VR seems to be the popular choice for the students and virtual tours. Okay, so, and at least I think for the next 1 year, we cannot think about any tours. So this would really fit in and answer many of our questions. Yes, also by the way of assessments that needs to go through a change. I'll come back to that a little later. But before that, let me invite Sucheta to come in. And Sucheta Mitra, your question would be, what's your dream school? Okay, what's your dream school like? I believe, yes, knowledge acquisition is important, subject matter is important, skill development is important, skill acquisition for life is important. What do you think is really more important?
Okay, so in my opinion, both skill acquisition and theory go hand in hand. And right now, these are surreal times when we students sit locked up in our homes for a much longer duration of time than we ever imagined possible. And all this while, virtual classes have been on for us with both teachers and students experimenting with and succeeding in using new ways to teach and learn. And it has been a very, very unique experience for all of us. So, in terms of online platforms, I think it would be wonderful if we could have quizzes in order to make learning on such platforms even more fun than the school already makes it. Our generation of students loves taking quizzes. We all know how BuzzFeed works. So, we can avail the formats of such quizzes to have quick recons and revisions. As for when we come back to school, as Arya mentioned, Singhania school is as close to a dream school as anything can ever be. But if it's possible, it would be incredible if we could have more of debates and discussions that already happen in a lot of classes in occasional bursts. These discussions can be a free for all where anyone can express their opinions as they feel like, in a civil manner, of course. Because there have been times where not just I, but my classmates have felt the urge to talk about some interesting offshoots of the subject matter being taught, which we have hesitated to bring up in class because these topics were not strictly relevant to the syllabus. And I think having more of free for all discussions can really help remedy the frustration that sometimes comes from this. The best thing would be if we could discuss controversial topics with the help and active participation of teachers. Because I acknowledge that being taught exactly according to the syllabus is important because at the end of the day, the board expects a certain kind of answers from us students. But having quick, spontaneous debates about quirky topics like, say, the underlying misogyny of Freud's theories or the fact that Shakespeare was the pop culture expert of his time would be a welcome break from the linear studying patterns that we have, while also not deviating too far off topic and delaying portion completion.
Oh, fantastic. I think, Suchita, I agree with you a lot because I've also always loved debates and I've loved discussions. And I think it's very important feature in a classroom because it helps children think beyond. It allows them to break the barriers that they may have about inhibitions that they may have about talking about a particular subject. It also widens your knowledge because you will, when you're speaking in public, you will start reading a lot more. A good reader is a good speaker too. So, and then will turn out to be a good writer. So, all of that will really help. I'm now moving to Shresht. Shresht, my question to you would be in the wake of this pandemic, and there has been a lot of effects in every aspect of our Indian economy, be it industry, be it agriculture, be it economy as such, as a business, and as well as education. Since we are all in the field of education, I'm going to stick to this idea theme of education. And can you suggest some changes that we can think of introducing in particularly in education around the country, across the country, as well as in our own school? I'm sure you'll come out with something very different.
Thank you, ma'am. But firstly, I'd like to thank our school for this opportunity to voice out our ideas. Now, this coronavirus is like an unwanted guest who's landed in our lives and is not ready to leave. In this scenario, I have a few recommendations on how I envisage the new tomorrow, where education takes the center stage. Now, I have considered an education platform leveraging quizzes and subjects which I feel should be emphasized upon for a deeper learning. Now, since this lockdown is to persist for another month or two, I suggest moving to an online platform such as this, where education can be imparted. But once the lockdown is lifted and the schools are allowed to operate, it would be nice if subjects like biology, chemistry, English can be taught on online platforms, while subjects like PE, physics, and maths can be taught live in school, where there's live interaction between our students and teachers. I agree with Suchita on the point of quizzes. It would be lovely to see our school conduct quizzes on apps like Kahoot. I believe it will help our students, it will keep our students on our toes and create a very healthy competition among us to score the maximum points in the shortest time possible. Now, since I talk about moving to an online platform, it would be nice if our school should teach us about basic internet hygiene and etiquettes so we can serve the web prudently and beware of cybercrime. It would also be nice if the school should consciously remind our students to follow standards sanitation protocols. Now, this conscious effort of yours would help create a future where following these protocols becomes an involuntary action. Now, coming to India's economy, it is majorly agriculture based. So it would be nice if the school would recommend us students or encourage us students to take up agriculture sciences to help develop highly varied seeds, invent better methods of farming, and help increase agriculture yield, which would ultimately help rebuilding our economy. So after being in the school for nearly 14 years, it's exciting to see the school I'm so familiar with transform in these difficult times. I'm sure we as Salonians, as a family, can sail through this problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very beautifully brought out. In fact, we were also thinking on those lines. There are some subjects that really can go online completely, and there are some subjects that you really have to have a face to face teaching as well. And at the same time, a wonderful point that you brought out is the need for students to take up agricultural sciences. I would also add Ayurveda and research in Ayurveda as another subject that children should take up, because these are going to be the need of the hour. You know, there's one COVID today. You never know what are the kind of viruses that may come, the kind of challenges that we face, and therefore looking at developing these fields well ahead of time. We need young scientists, young researchers to go ahead, and that's what it is going to be. And let me tell you, agriculture is also a very rewarding experience. Both, holistically, also you feel good about yourself, soulfully it's very good, and it also gives you a lot of peace of mind, apart from the fact that it is quite well paid. So I think that's the other aspect that one needs to think of in these days. So I think it's beautifully brought out by Shrestha, and thank you very much. And let me now invite Mugdha.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Mugdha. Mugdha, we've seen a revolution of sorts now, okay, in the field of education. And when technology is available like this, so much in plenty, are we going to be interested in bringing about the changes that you are seeing in the education? And what is your dream school like?
Okay, so ma'am, I think that with this current situation of the pandemic, with the so many changes going on in the educational field, like you stated right now, I think it is important that we inculcate online learning in our classroom-based learning too, because since this pandemic has started, I think people have started to realize the importance of technology, and we are actually acknowledging how technology has affected our life. I feel we've been taking technology way too granted, and we have actually realized how important it is for us. Now, talking about my dream school, I'd first like to tell you that I've spent the majority of my time in school. So it is my second home now. And my entire belief system is based on what I have heard my teachers say. And so my school has always played a very important role in my life. And I have loved this learning process. But I want to make this a more enriched one for the students who are younger to me. And so I want to share a few ideas with you. If the school could give the students a chance to talk to their peers and teachers, share their experiences, talk about issues which are close to their heart, or talk about anything which has affected their life as a teenager, then I think it will be very effective in spreading awareness about issues like peer pressure, parental pressure, bullying, and even mental health issues. It will also build public speaking skills and help let go of stage fear. Now, my school teaches me how to make money, but if it could also teach me how I can make this money grow, then I would achieve important life skills. So, concepts like taxes and savings and investments and insurances, even they could be taught. I also think that the school could organize workshops on topics other than the usual STEM based topics. Then it can be poetry writing, flash fiction, ancient history, studying geodes, cool mathematical tricks, and even personality development and resume building workshops. Lastly, I would love it if the school could get the students to be more involved in the events that take place in the school. So during parents' days and annual days, I have always seen teachers run from here and there, take so many efforts. Sometimes they even need to run after the students. And so I think that this equality could exist, where the students take an equal amount of efforts as the teachers do, because even they are a part of this institution. And I feel that even they should know what it is like to work with different people and organize such a huge event. If these ideas are implemented, I think the future generation will truly benefit from it. Thank you.
I love your idea of student involvement because I'm a great, promoter of students getting involved in their activities, taking the lead, because that's where your leadership skills actually develop. Because when you stumble across so many blocks, you start thinking in a more matured manner and start handling things better. So I think that was a wonderful point that you brought up. The second one was on mental health, which where students themselves start talking about it so that it clears their mind completely and they emerge stronger. I think that's a wonderful point that came across. And the third that I would agree and I will be introducing on any account would be financial literacy. We have come to a point where there is now uh, there's a lot of job losses that we can see the economy going down, so it's very important for us to teach our children how do you have a simple living and how do you become conscious of the fact that you need to save your money, how do you multiply your money and help it to grow, and all of these. And I think that financial literacy can come in right from grade 5. So because you need to learn when you're very young, so that's one aspect we are also thinking in terms of it. Okay, so thank you very much, Mugdha. And
Thank you
I,
so much, ma'am.
yes, you can put across questions if there are any, if anyone has. But I have a few questions, and now this is just going to go very quickly. Any one of you can choose to answer. Just raise your hands so that, as in your classroom, so that it will be two. We all spoke about technology taking over, AR coming. I'm going to ask you a question that will make you a little uncomfortable. Do students need teachers? Yes, you can answer. Take the answer. One of you can take it.
Ma'am, can I answer this question?
Yes, Mugdha.
Ma'am, I think that students need teachers because even if learning is such a huge concept where it can be self-taught and you can learn different topics by yourself, right now with the technological advancement, we have different options at our hand where we can just go online, like you mentioned before. There are so many courses available online and we can learn ourselves. But still, I feel that we need a little guidance when you are learning. I think that helping hand, that little push that actually makes you go ahead is the teacher's way to teach you. Every teacher has a different way to teach, and it impacts you, it imprints upon you, and it stays with you for life.
Okay, thank you so much.
Ma'am, even I'd like to answer on this.
Yes, Sriravi.
Ma'am, presence of teachers is actually a big matter because using AR and VR are simply complementary to the traditional teaching methods. As in, I said that the biology teacher is teaching about the heart. It is not that AR equipped device is teaching the child how the process, how the heart actually works. It is just showing so that the child understand, okay, it is like this. But then when a teacher explains, the child gets a humanly touch with the teaching. That is why I feel, yes, presence of teacher is very much important in the process of learning.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, I'm going to ask Shresh this question. Shrestha, can you take this question? Which skills do you think is the most important ones that we need to emphasize right now, whether it's at home or in school?
Quite frankly, ma'am, I think more than skills, I think it's certain values, certain principles. Now, coming back to the topic that you asked, the question you asked me earlier about the economy, I'd like to add to that by saying, the key contributors to economy today are largely agriculture, manufacturing, and services. So, in order to contribute to any of these, the thrust should be on being purposeful and practical than being a jack of all trades. No compromise on quality is a value which can be efficiently introduced and imbibed by education. That's what I feel. So, yeah, that's.
Thank you. There's a question from Ms. Shweta, and the question is it really possible to have personalized learning? The question is to Abhishek.
Personalized learning is a competency-based system where the curriculum can be based on each individual student's aptitude and interest. For example, someone who is very good at maths can take maths at a higher level. This will ensure that each child is completely interested in what they are learning and can excel at the chosen subjects. However, in order to use personalized learning efficiently, we will need a technology-based system which tracks the progress of each student. So the answer to your question is yes, personalized learning is possible. However, it will require some amount of technology to be used efficiently.
Okay, there's one more question that says that how is virtual learning going to help when it comes to PE? So can I have Bailey to answer that?
So basically, when it comes to PE, it is very difficult on.
Please continue.
It is very difficult online to teach PE. It is very difficult to tactics given by sirs or teachers or some like maybe I do basketball coaching. So in school, if sometimes you have to do virtual classes, maybe we can have our sirs telling that you need to practice 100 dribbles per day, or maybe you need to do 100 push-ups per day. So that we can do at home. But for PE, we need physical classes. It is very difficult for on virtual classes.
That's wonderful. Okay, the next question that's on screen is what about other co-curricular activities like music, dance? How do we go about it? Any one of you, Aryan, if you wish to answer, you can answer because you didn't get a chance. Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Not only music, dance, but also various other activities are important, such as internships that go hand in hand with such skills. For example, a student interested in the field of music would find it very useful to get into touch with various organizations that help the students raise their talents. Similarly, for example, a student interested in the field of finance would find it useful to work with stock exchanges such as the National Stock Exchange or the Bombay Stock Exchange, because this would help the student analyze his prospect before actually working on it. That said, music goes the same way. If our school could do that as well, the student could get a gist of what skills the student is actually required to apply while learning and analyzing the skills required in music.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, Arya, my question to you. This is for Arya. So, okay, I would like Arya Sibnis to take this question. How much of screen time is all right? For example, if you're going to be having a school which is online, how many hours do you think the school should be?
Ma'am, first of all, I think that technology is a tool. I mean, it's not a master. And there's no quantitative correct answer to this question. But then I think as much is essential, as long as we can limit it to the minimum, screen time might give incremental benefits which might outweigh the health problems which might be caused. And obviously we need the exercise, we need the concentration, we need the guidance from our teachers to limit it to the bare minimum and use it only as required.
So do you think that giving gaps in between two lectures so that there is time for movement, there's time for stretching, all of that really helps?
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Because if you're staring at the screen for a longer amount of time, it puts higher strain on your eyes, your focus, and all cognitive abilities. So I think, first of all, we can always take the steps which are easily possible. Maintain your posture while interacting on the screen. Make sure to stretch between lectures. Have teeny tiny gaps here and there when you can just take a walk in your room. and we can minimize the adverse impact. But obviously, there's no right answer to this question.
Oh, okay, there is a question from Aryan Kamdar, and that's addressed to all the panelists. What methods will you apply to restore the balance between online system of learning and classroom system of learning post-COVID?
May I take that answer, please? Okay, so in my opinion, the whole learning process, not only in India but everywhere, has changed completely. So we have to acknowledge the fact that now we are going to be a little more technology, a lot more technology dependent that we already were before. Because even after lockdown ends, we are going to have to maintain social distancing. And as the HRD minister has said, at any given point in time after the lockdown, when schools start again, only 30% of students can come to school. So that means students will have to avail online classes. 20% of students can come to school on a specific day, so that at the end of the week, everyone has come to school at least once. And for the rest of the people who are at home, online classes can be recorded and uploaded them for them to see. So we will have to depend on both online classes and actual classes even after lockdown ends. There's going to be more of a 50-50 balance than like an 80-20 balance like we had before.
Beautifully said. Okay, because our planning is done and we have done a perfect balance of both, so that we keep our children both physically active as well as during this time, as much as we are giving them mental activities. It is indeed a difficult time because it's not very easy to have us being at home and handling, especially so for very young children who are just 4, 5, or 6, or even in the elementary school. So we will have to think in terms of how do we keep them engaged in a better way, you know. And I just got someone, Gauri Tungar, who has commented for you. She's a parent, I think. She's commented that kudos to the students reflecting confidence, knowledge, and applicability. That's beautiful. Let me tell the viewers that this is spontaneous, and they do not know the questions that I'm asking them. I had reserved them for asking them quite on the spot, because the purpose of learning and education is to develop confidence in children, to remove any kind of inhibitions, be able to face an unknown crowd, and be able to handle questions themselves, have clarity of thought and purpose, and be able to visualize what the world would be, to envision what it can be. And that's what the purpose of education should be. The whole purpose of this conference that we had, the meeting that we had, and the thoughts that were expressed was just that. I would like to ask any of the panelists would like to give one last statement, one statement. My dream school, if you want to say that, okay, I'm going to give you, no, I can't give it to you so easily in a sentence. I have to make it tougher for you. So there's a question from Mr. Anil Mahajan, which says, how are you going to do the evaluation and effectiveness measurement is going to change in the new way of learning? Do you think it will change, and how will it change? Anyone want to take the assessment pattern, evaluation pattern as a question? How does it, so when you effectively measure, okay, how the class has been performing, how will you go about making the change in the new system? Shresh, would you like to take that?
Definitely, ma'am. Well, as I mentioned earlier, quizzes is one of the wonderful options, and apart from that, you can also incorporate maybe assignments that these students can periodically write and submit, because there are some subjects like physics and biology where you have complex diagrams where we need to draw, we need to write down our numericals and show them that we know how the steps, how we go about it. So, yes, that's how I would incorporate, or how I would change the evaluation pattern.
Okay, fantastic. This question has to go to a standard 10 student because, or no, standard 12 student, because it's a standard 10 who is asking this question. I am currently in standard 10. preparing for the exams that they have been rescheduled. How do I get back to the studying mode? So I think this it can be answered by someone who has appeared for a standard 10 board exam once. Okay, so one of the 12 standards. Yes. How can you get back into a studying mode?
Ma'am, I'll take this question.
Yes.
Ma'am, I think that the 10th exams are generally in mid-Feb, end Feb or so, and now they might be in July or August. So yeah, it's really been a long time. So the most important thing is not to exhaust yourself, not to exhaust your capabilities. You know, you have to keep going for a long race. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Take it step by step, go chapter by chapter, paragraph by paragraph, but keep doing, like, take keep taking baby steps at least every day, because or else you'll get out of rhythm. So that would be my take.
Beautiful answer given by her. I think it's fantastic. There is the question on will exams be conducted? If yes, then how? All of this will come to you next week and to the parents. Again, Aryan Kamdar is up with the second question. What are the possible methods that can be applied to strengthen the bond between teachers and students? Who'd like to take that?
May I take that? So, like a lot of us talked about over here, we spend most of our day inside school, our students, for like 14 years or so. So, I mean, teachers are always there for us to talk to. This is something that we have to inculcate in ourselves, that we have to keep reminding to ourselves that teachers are always there for us to talk to. So, I mean, teachers are doing their best. They always do their best. Now it's time for us to remind ourselves that not just our parents, not just our family and friends, even our teachers are someone we can rely on to help us out whenever we need, because they're always there. I know that for a fact because I have many a times asked for my teachers for help and they have never failed me. So to all the students who are listening, please rely on your teachers. They will guide you, they will help you always, they will never let you down.
Thank you very much.
Ma'am, I'll add on to this.
Yes.
Ma'am, like I mentioned before in my points, my aspects for the dream school, I introduced the fact that students could be more involved in the events that take place. So if the students work with the teachers to make sure that the event takes place properly, I think the students get to spend more time with the teachers, they get to bond with their teachers. And you know, sometimes we misjudge each other, and when we are working together, this miscommunication does not happen because we understand each other properly. And I think this will also improve the classroom learning because the students will know what goes and what not goes with the teacher.
Absolutely, very well said. Because I would agree with her. There is always a kind of an artificial barrier that we draw, and we think that there's a glass barrier there. And I think we have to remove that. It's very important to do that because as children, you should understand that parents and teachers don't belong to a different era. Who, I mean, that they can't understand you. They do understand you. You need to open up and speak, and you will see there's a lot more of humor and laughter, and you will see a person you didn't know. Okay, behind the role that they play, they are beautiful people. Yes. Yeah, there's one question for me, but I'm not going to answer it right now. The question is from Mr. Desai. What about students below 5th standard? When are the classes going to start? You can wait for my answers on the 31st. Okay, and Sangarsh asks this question: how can we study at home because we find that nobody is there to help us? Yes, any answer?
Can I answer?
Yes, please.
Yes. So there are various modules and applications that are available for online learning. For example, Khan Academy. It is an online platform where you can learn several courses. For example, you can learn Standard 8 Math, Standard 9 Math, Standard 10 Math. You can learn chemistry, physics, science, various other subjects in addition to economics and finance as well. So taking the help of such online platforms and application would serve as an add-on and boost your confidence as well as your studying performance.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I would like to add something to this. that although all the online tools are there, the situation that nobody is ready to help us and nobody is there to help us can very rarely occur, because as Sucheta said, our teachers are the most approachable person, and they will never let this occur that no one is there to help us. We can always approach them. So try to get in contact with your teachers, talk to them freely, and they'll always help you out.
Okay, so we come to the end of this.
Ma'am, I would like to
Yes,
also
please.
add a point on this. Ma'am,
Yes.
if we want to learn virtual and from our home, basically what we need is more self-motivation and more commitment to it. So if we have that, we'll definitely find out a way so that we can learn.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Beautiful thoughts that came across, and I have been penning them down. All of them have been put as little chits into this little basket in front of me. Okay. I will be opening each of these once again over the week, along with your senior teachers, and we'll come across with a beautiful bouquet of offerings for you. And that's what's your dream school. Perhaps some of your ideas, if not all of them, but some of your ideas can be implemented for the next academic year. I'd like to thank each one of you. You have put your thought into it. You have spoken about your dream school. And very often we think our dream schools are schools when you say, what's your dream school? I think there's a sparkle in the eyes, there's a smile on our faces, and there's something that we're looking forward to. Why? Because we are actually dreaming of something right ahead of us, like a little child would dream of a dream doll or something like that. But and perhaps when we are much younger, I would like to speak this to the audience. You could see the maturity with which the students are spoken. They're all students who move from 8th to ninth, or 9th to 10th, or 11th to 12th. That's the classes that they are in. And we do have very young children also who have spoken their mind off, right from junior KG to grade 8. That will come up on a video for you just now. So please stay on to watch that. And you will see what a difference in the thought processes. Okay. On the one hand, you'll have all of them talking in terms of learning, education, academics, economy, and skills. You have the very young ones talk what the dreams are like and what the dream school is like. And I must say, I loved it. I loved it because there was nothing called studying, textbooks, books, assessments in their dreams. All that they had was play and music and celebration of birthday parties. Thank you very much, viewers, for being here today and for encouraging my young panelists. I'm sure tomorrow they will be sitting across on panels on national television or international television screens, and I would be the proudest person to see them there. They made their maiden venture and their maiden entry on the screen with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.